rather than eating a family-sized bag of Doritos in 20 minutes, what are some healthy snack alternatives that could be consumed in large amounts? Story 1. Whenever I'm craving chocolate, I find that a handful of peanuts and dried fruit gives me the short-term energy boost my body needs to get me to the store to buy chocolate. Story 2. Probably anything that's mostly water, so vegetables. Edit rip my inbox. Edit 2 enough with the human jokes. Edit 3 thank for the gold. Don't know why I got it. Story 3. Probably celery or cucumber. You might be able to get away with watermelon as well. I once went through 312 watermelons a week. Watermelon is great. Edit and go to buy a watermelon now. Story 4. I used to go for a family-sized bag of salt and vinegar. Shred it without realizing until last bits. Switched out for jars or pickles. Worked like a charm. It solved that crispy, sour, tangy craving and zapped calories. I'm down at least 40 pounds since I swapped to pickles a few years back. At it. Thank you, everyone. I was not expecting my most upvoted content to be regarding my love for pickles. First, blood pressure topic. Yes, I have high blood pressure. Long time. I've been taking medication for many years for it. My blood pressure has actually been better in the past few years since the switch, but do you know and understand the consequences of salt? I hardly ever use salt with anything else really. My massive weight actually came as a result of medications over a decade ago. Had been constantly battling to lose the weight, and in recent years, actually kind of gave up, and that's when the weight started coming off. I drink a minimum of a gallon of water a day, but usually twice that. Most of my diet, it's liquid, because I'm an extremely thirsty person. Yes, I know that a warning for diabetes. Doc keeps looking, but I'm safe. Oddly enough, the weight started to finally come off when I got on a regular regimen of medical marijuana. I think it rebooted my metabolism. As for the pickle enthusiasts and pickle lovers, my grocery store favorite is Zesty Dill. Every year my mother makes usually a solid 20 dozen jars of pickles, and I claim about half of them. A lot of the ones I claim, I add pepper flakes and some garlic. I usually eat one jar in one sitting, and try to set my max at 2 jars a week for staying sodium conscious. I try to only get potato chips, as Risu of these choices, when it's a special occasion with guests. Thanks everyone, I know Rick would be proud. Extra edit. Thank you, kind stranger, so much for my first silver, which is my first of any badge here. I truly appreciate it. Story 5. Ick about healthy, but a good snack choice in my opinion is shelled sunflower seeds. Yes, there's a ton of sodium, but it takes forever to shell and eat an entire bag of them. So if you're a boredom eater like me, they're great to have around, just because of the fact that you're barely even eating anything at all. Plus, you could get a low-sodium bag, I suppose, edit, since the posts you want to blow up never do, and the ones you leave in passing get 3K upvotes. Please don't eat the shells. They don't digest properly and can cause constipation at best, or they can cut up your esophagus and digestive tract, at worst, if you don't chew them well enough. Story 6. I tend to eat roasted, dry seaweed packs. Only like 25 calories a pack, and not that much sodium if you get good ones. Edit. Since this blew up, many people have been asking about specific brands. The one I get is a Korean brand called Gimme Organic. I personally like the sea salt, 25 calories a pack, and only 65 milligrams of sodium. Just be careful with consuming large amounts due to iodine. Story 7. Fruit is where it's at. Was bored, so did some math. One serving of Doritos is 1 ounce, 17 ounces in a family-sized bag. Just in terms of calories, that's 140 calories per serving, 17 servings, so 2,380 calories, which is about 2 entire watermelons or about 15 pounds of strawberries. Edit. As people have said in the comments below, fruits can have a lot of sugar. Story 8. Plain popcorn. A cup of air pop popcorn only has 31 calories and high in fiber. Studies have found that popcorn will fill you up more than other popular snacks such as potato chips. It is also high volume, having pretty much the same nutritional value as a popcorn kernel. It's also delicious. Edit. Obviously, you can throw some salt or spices on there. I was just pointing out how healthy popcorn is at its core. Story 9. The only thing this thread has taught me is that there's no healthy snacks that are even remotely close to being as good as Doritos. Edit. The other thing this thread did is add Doritos to my shopping list when I went to the store today. Story 10. Roasted chickpeas garbanzo beans. It's so easy I never thought it would be, but I tried it last week, and it's literally just preheat oven to 375 F190C drain can or 2 of chickpeas. Pour out onto a pan, pat dry with towel, or don't. It doesn't matter too much. Throw them in the oven for 30 minutes. You'll want to take them out every 10 minutes or so to move them around a bit. Remove from oven and pour in a bowl. Toss with a spoon of vegetable oil, salt, thyme, and a good spoonful of chili powder. Pop it back into the oven another 10 to 15 minutes. am definitely going the full 15 minutes the next time I make these, because holy, they taste so good. When they're just perfectly crispy, it's like popcorn, but nuts, but they're chickpeas, but they're spiced up, but they're magic. Edited has been pointed out that while these are a healthier alternative, they are still calorie dense. I think they're relatively filling, though. Story 11 ID Go for sliced red and orange peppers. Crunchy, refreshing, and hey, a tiny bit of ranch to go with it can't be too terrible. Tiny, though. That is like 80 calories a tablespoon. Story 12, I love peanut butter, but I can't justify 190 calories for 2 tablespoons. Go get some PB2. It's only 50 calories for 2 tablespoons. Smear that stuff on apples, celery, bananas, bread, and everything else you own because it is miraculous. Story 13, salted cucumber drizzled with raspberry vinaigrette. Garlic pickle slices, popcorn, veggies with dip. I make a homemade ranch with ranch powder mix and low-fat Greek yogurt that is really good. There are a lot of different options. Lately, I have also been eating gluten-free crackers. I think the brand is Milton's, with low-fat Laughing Cow spreadable Swiss cheese on them. They are really filling and are a great choice if you want the texture and flavor of chips. Definitely not healthy, though. But I really like crackers and cheese, and I am having to do away with gluten for my autoimmune diet, so it's healthier than the alternative for me at least. Story 14, not sure how healthy they are, but roasted, salted almonds help me through the day. Eat a handful and drink some water, and you will feel pretty satiated for a bit. Story 15, popcorn, carrot sticks, celery sticks, watermelon, strawberries, and Nutella. If you have some hard apples lying around, you can make a quick and yummy baked apple. Story 16, I get that you want that crunching sensation, but when I get munchies like that, I go through this ritual of making herbal tea. It comes in so many flavors, no caffeine, and it can be relaxing, plus no dirty hands for munching on something. I usually make it hot. Story 17, veggie straws like the bag chip type snack straw thingies or rice cakes are a good alternative if you're looking for a crunchy snacks edit. While a lot of you people are real mad about veggie straws, fine, I admit they're not any healthier. However, they're lower in calories. Maybe not by that much, but they are. You can stop explaining to me how calories work, lol. Story 18, probably not the answer you're looking for, but anything consumed out of moderation is going to be, in some way, bad for you. Consuming a lot of fruits will net you a lot of sugars. Consuming a lot of vegetables will net you a lot of fiber. I probably don't need to elaborate on the other food groups. I thought I would mention that to people who mention cucumbers as a good option, cucumbers are gas-forming. So there's that. Instead of consuming large amounts of food, psychologically, pour out your big bag of Doritos in a smaller bowl, and it should help you consume less. Also, proteins are known to give a quicker feeling of fullness, curbing how much you would feel like you need to eat. Story 19, ITT rookie, get a full bag of kale. Preheat the oven to whatever. All the kale in a baking tray. Sprinkle just a little tinkle of olive oil. I substitute with coconut fry light spray. When cutting over it, some salt and garlic, and probably some chili flakes. In for 15 minutes. Bam, homemade seaweed. That is about 80 calories per tray, and so dense with nutrients the only health hazard is being sucked into the oven by its gravity, brother. Edit, the reason I said preheat it to whatever is that kale without stems is practically all surface area. So there's no issue of cooking anything through. It's about how quickly you want to crisp them with visual monitoring. I tend to do 400 F's Mark 6. Story 20, leftovers of actual meals. You'll get a lot more value and taste this way than any snack type thing will accomplish. Personally, I food prep far in advance, so I've always got something to reheat and eat at any time. Story 21, you might want to give roasted chickpeas a shot, or those dried wasabi peas. If you like nori, you can buy snack packs of seasoned nori sheets. Zucchini chips exist, but I've never managed to get them dry without burning them. Turkey pepperoni, but only compared to regular snack meats. They're probably pretty even with Doritos LMAO. Story 22, seaweed snacks. High in sodium though, so not the most healthy, but they're low calorie and a little bit crunchy, which helps when I'm craving the crunch of chips. Story 23, hey, I went on my own weight loss journey last year. Lost about 21 kgs, about 45 pounds. Here is a pea dip that I used to eat a lot for snacking. Like you, I couldn't keep away from chips and general unhealthy snacking. Instead of crackers or bread as suggested on the site, I substituted them for carrots and celery. Hope this helps you as much as did me. The recipe edit wrote chaos instead of chips. Story 24, generally when I get like that, I eat a big bowl of either cooked Brussels sprouts, carrots, or broccoli, or raw carrots, tomato, or carrot sticks. Nothing like eating like a pound of Brussels sprouts in a sitting. Story 25, if you want a crunchy all to Doritos, and this is going to sound crazy, there are things called hippies, puffed chickpea flour things that come in white cheddar flavor. I swear they're delicious and pregnant, and was craving Cool Ranch Doritos, but wanted to be good. These absolutely satisfy my craving, and were maybe even tastier. Story 26, get yourself a dehydrator and dry up some meat, grape halves, bananas, apples with cinnamon, etc. The chewiness from the dried product will keep your mouth satisfied for a while. I've even dried up carrot pieces, spinach, peppers. Then bought a Krups brand coffee bean blender for like 20 bucks, then turned them into powder and snuck them into meals. You don't know how many times I made mac cheese from the box and snuck in a ton of carrot powder, and no one noticed. You could dry up bacon, sprinkle on some popcorn. Make cheap jerky by using ground meat, seasoning it, then rolling it into little tubes about the size of straw and drying them up. That is way better than eating the Doritos, trust me. Heck, you can make your own dried cheese and powder it up, add some dried jalapenos to it, and sprinkle it on popcorn or straight up munch on the powder. Story 27, good God, man. That's nearly 1 ounce of Doritos every minute, at approximately 12 chips per ounce. That's 1 chip every 6 seconds. Given the median non-crushed chip size, since you binge on these things, I can only assume you're versed in their proper handling. You're looking at least 10 chomps before you can swallow. Now, assuming a perfect pipeline of bag foraging, raising chip to mouth, swallowing downtime, and a necessary in a bag dump, you're chewing at a rate of about 110 chomps per minute. And all in, you have over a pound of corn, various oils, flavorings for roughly 2,550 calories or 127, 5 of your general daily caloric intake. You will have 5 grams of sodium, 153 of daily value, and 306 g of carbohydrates. And you did it all without your family. Story 28, Angie's Boom Chick-Up Pop Popcorn. So addicting and only 35 calories per cup. Overall, very healthy snack. I once found them in the dollar store and I cleared the whole shelf. I ate a whole bag a day for 2 weeks. Every person that I've had try it all now buy it every week. Edit cup, not bag. Story 29, nothing compares. Snack foods are scientifically designed to make you addicted and make you crave more when your stomach tells you it's full. This is like a heroin addict asking for a safe and healthy heroin alternative. Story 30, since a few months ago, I've had this massive food craving and sweet tooth where I just want to eat everything in sight, 247, even when I'm super full and I've overeating. Seriously, I was eating like half a bag of chips, 10 cookies, candy bars, ice cream, and also eating way more at lunch and dinner than I needed all in one day. I also had like 2 midnight snacks every day of processed frozen food like pizza rolls and tater tots. I just couldn't stop eating, and I kept trying to make myself stop because I was gaining weight, and I knew eating like a crazy madman like that could affect me badly. And it did just that. 3 weeks ago, my constant overeating and eating junk food gave me a horrible bout of acid reflux that still hasn't gone away. I constantly felt like I had something stuck in my throat, and I would feel food traveling up and down my chest, bringing me horribly uncomfortable sensations. I would have stabbing pains in my chest that would alternate between feelings of little pins stabbing my chest everywhere to regurgitation. Long story short, it was terrible, and that helped me to fix my diet really quick, because if I ate the wrong food, I would be in for an hour of on top of my already constant pain. Seriously, before I got acid reflux, I was having so much trouble controlling myself, because losing weight wasn't a big enough motivator for me to stop eating. So in some ways, the acid reflux was a blessing in disguise. Anyways, I went on a diet of only eating rice and certain green vegetables and 1 apple a day, and I had to avoid pretty much everything else. I made the mistake of eating grapes one day, and my acid reflux spiked up so badly, I was just sitting in pain for the next 3 hours, and I couldn't move or focus on anything. But my point of this is that the acid reflux really helped me to change my diet and to stop snacking all the time. I was also really afraid to overeat, so I would eat a little less than I needed. At first it was tough because I felt hungry all the time, but after the first week it got more manageable. And it's only been 3 weeks, and I've already lost weight by eating smaller portions. More frequently, I've gone from 2 large meals a day with a bunch of snacks to 5 small meals a day and only eating during the day. I make it a point to stop eating after 8 p.m. and to go to sleep around 11 or 12. I feel like these lifestyle changes are also helping, so my answer to you would be to stop snacking and stop eating at night and eat meals more frequently. That way you won't feel the need to snack on anything since you'll be eating every 2 to 3 hours. But most importantly, you have to make sure to eat way less at your meals. I eat like 13 of what I used to at each meal, but at the end of the day, I still eat the same amount I used to because I'm eating more frequently. Story 31, make a bean salad from black beans, white beans, red beans, peppers, onions, and dressing. Eat a half cup and feel amazing. ITLL pressure wash your insides, and you'll feel full longer. Story 32, this comment will probably be buried, but frozen peas are my parents used to give them to us as babies, and I recently started eating them again. They're cold, crunchy, and sweet. I literally just buy the frozen steamable packs and eat them from the bag. They're amazing. No one believes me IRL, but maybe a Redditor will. Story 33, ITT, people substituting chips with other things that will make you fat when eaten in large amounts. Take a cue from the question. Family size. You shouldn't be eating family-sized anything. The correct answers are green vegetables, water, and pretty much nothing else. Story 34, snacking on fruits is always delicious. I personally love eating clementines, and slowing down a peel gives you a second to think if you actually want another one. Story 35, if you crave a cheesy snack and love blue cheese. Mash together about 1 ounce cheese with half a cup of Greek yogurt. Makes a really good dip for baby carrots, celery, sliced apples, pears, and is still pretty low calorie, but really satisfying. Story 36, super large bowl of lettuce. Throw in some tomatoes, cucumbers, any other crunchy vegetable you like, cabbage, shredded carrots. As much as you want, throw in a couple of tablespoons of Trader Joe's skinny guac, a teaspoon of shredded cheddar cheese, then a tablespoon of light Thousand Island dressing. Mix it all up and go to town. Alternative, super large bowl of lettuce, tomatoes, cucumbers, etc., a couple of teaspoons of Trader Joe's blue cheese crumbles, a teaspoon of olive oil, tablespoon of balsamic vinegar, some chopped up shallots. Go to town again. The key is to fill up on a family-size amount of lettuce, cucumbers, tomatoes, etc., and put just enough flavor on it to keep you going. It's surprisingly tasty and filling. Another way to go is air pop popcorn with Pam spray and salt, or one of those flavored popcorn salts. Again, you can eat a whole family-sized bowl of that. Story 37, seltzer. If you're drinking a soda or 2 a day, switch to seltzer. Polar has some awesome flavors, and once you adjust to it, you'll never want to drink soda again. It's so sweet and unnatural tasting to me now. Story 38, kimchi. I get an urge for mouth pleasure, and I go to town on a bowl of kimchi. It's cabbage, chilies, and salt. Drink a lot of water, and you'll be full, and have some spicy enjoyment too. Story 39, depending on what you're craving, here are some healthy snacks. Crunch salt fat cravings, cucumber, and carrot slices with hummus. You can even make hummus at home. There are tons of blogs about hummus and tahini recipes. And if you don't want to go that extra mile, just sprinkle salt and pepper and red chili powder for a delicious, healthy treat. Sweet cravings, berries, fruits, fruit salad with a bit of black pepper, dried mango powder, and black rock salt tossed. And since raw veggies and fruits are high in fiber and water content, they'll fill you up quickly. So you'll have put something healthy in your body, and you won't crave for very long, since you'll be full by the time you pick up the last pea slice off your plate. Hope this helps. Story 40, let's go with healthy-ish. All I have to do is beat Doritos, right? Pickles, peanut butter jelly on bread. Most fruits, grapes, apples, popcorn can be surprisingly reasonable for you. And carrots celiac are good too, but I get a stomach ache if I eat too many carrots. The important part here, I think, is having some of all of these things. I don't think I could fill up on grapes or pickles, even though I could probably eat a week's worth of calories and chips in a day. But I could fill up on grapes, a PB&J, and pickles, and maybe it's okay to have some chips after if you also ate a bunch of carrots first to fill up more. You can also do some stuff like peanut butter on celery, etc. I haven't actually tried that yet, but I've heard of it. Keep an eye out for food like tamales that can be fairly satisfying, but requires almost no prep work, which I think is basically one of the main draws of snacks. Story 41, blueberries. They're easy to grab a handful. Do not have a skin to dispose of. Transport well in a hard container, full of vitamins. Inexpensive, they're always on sale near me. And of course, delicious. Story 42, I love freezing bite-sized chunks of Greek yogurt. Using a piping bag makes it really fast. Just line a cookie sheet with parchment paper and toss it in the freezer. Keep them in a bag or container in the freezer once they're frozen through. A handful will be equal to just a few tablespoons of yogurt, which is barely any calories and sugar. Even using a sweetened version and sucking on them makes them last a while. Good for boredom eating. The banana cream chobani flavor is the best I've tried so far. Story 43, I like to eat avocado and cucumber rolls. I make them one whole roll at a time, chop it up, and eat it before making a new roll. This way, if I wait enough from just making it, by the time I get to rolling the third one, I'm pretty full. Story 44, popcorn is probably the closest lower-calorie option. Try string cheese. Pulling off the little strings of cheese is fun, and you probably won't crave anything cheese-wise after. Also, homemade baked potato fries. Story 45, I see many of the replies suggest fruit, but that does not have the crunch of Doritos. How about a somewhat healthy cereal? I always have Cheerios on the shelf, but there are others to choose from. Avoid the sugary kid cereal. You can still add in fruit, but the cereal crunch will still be there. Story 46, if you're hungry enough to consume a family-sized bag of Doritos in 20 minutes, you don't need a healthy snack. You need a healthy meal. Just fix yourself a proper meal. Then you won't be tempted to go for unhealthy snacks all the time. Story 47, cut up apples into fries, and you can vacuum them down. Ice is another good one, or home-cooked unflavored popcorn, not microwave stuff or pretty much anything that is mainly water. Story 48, jicama, or jicama sticks already cut. It has a satisfying crunch, nice taste, and you can sprinkle seasoning or whatever spices you like. Pop quinoa is actually pretty good. It takes some practice to make, and the resulting yield is a lot of little puffs, but it tastes really good, and you can season it however you want. Baby carrots are great, and again, they also have this satisfying crunch. Story 49, kale chips are surprisingly delicious when made right. Kale is cheap, as in all you need is a bit of oil and seasoning. There's a learning curve when cooking it, as it can burn easily and then tastes horribly bitter. You can eat a comparable amount of kale chips for a few hundred calories versus 1,400 at least for a bag of Doritos. Story 50, almonds, especially salted ones, are really good health-wise and protein-wise. I prefer salted, and I'm sure there are additional variations to change up the taste and still get the great health benefits. Story 51 might be a little weird, maybe something I just do, but on occasion just buy a pound or two of sugar snap peas, wash them, and munch on them all day. Story 52, pomegranates. They might be high in sugar, but are they tasty? They'll bathe 3 at a time and spend an hour or 2 de-seeding them and washing the seeds. Pack the seeds in Tupperwares, and I can take them to class or just snack on them slowly at my desk. I love a good pomegranate. Story 53, celery, carrots, cucumbers, broccoli, cauliflower, romaine lettuce, onions, a combo of any of the above. I'm also a fan of beans green and peas cooked, and for meals, sometimes I'll have a can or half of beans, but that's more of a personal craving. Story 54, kale chips. They're super easy to make. Cut kale leaves into chips-sized pieces, slightly larger. ITLL shrink as it dries. Toss in whatever seasonings you want. I use salt, garlic powder, and paprika usually. Then bake at 275 for 20 minutes, until they are completely dried out. Use the tiniest bit of oil, like a couple sprays of mist if you have one of those salad spritzers, to make it tastier, but use too much and ITLL be soggy. Don't overlap leaves while baking or they will steam each other. Spices have no calories. Kale is like 30 calories per cup of material. Eat an entire head with no guilt. I also use a lot of vinegar as a low-calorie dressing option. Make your own oil-free salad dressings, then drench whatever you want. Also, I might be crazy, but I really like popcorn dipped in vinegar dressing. A lot of people are saying fruit, and while I do like fruit, usually when I want chips, fruit isn't the thing I want, if you know what I mean. Story 55, honestly, a couple of carrots, full size not baby, can fill me up super fast with only 1 or 2. They are really dense, and put lime juice on it, and it tastes amazing. Story 56, bell pepper, probably a bit on the extravagant side, but I could eat a metric ton of them, and as far as I'm concerned, they don't have too many calories. They're just delicious and so fresh in taste. You can almost feel the healthiness in your mouth. Story 57, roasted chickpeas. You can sometimes find them pre-made in stores, but also really easy to make yourself. Just buy canned chickpeas, put them on a baking tray, coat in oil, and some spices you can use as similar spices to the chips you like. Pop in the oven until golden 180 degrees Celsius for about half an hour, and enjoy munching. Savory goodness. Also, popcorn homemade is best for low calories. Store-bought are often coated in sugar. I make mine in a pan with some coconut oil, a little maple syrup, and cinnamon for days when I have more of a sweet tooth. Story 58, I hate that I cannot stand to eat most of the things suggested here. How do you eat healthy when everything that's healthy tastes like to you starve? Story 59, cucumber with a little salt and paprika or chili powder to your liking makes a great and delicious snack. Make it fresh, else the salt is going to bring out the water from the cucumber. Edit IC cucumber is mentioned a lot already, but many complain that it has no taste. Those people are so wrong, XD. Story 60, very common and very good question. And the answer basically boils down to 2 options, one which many others have suggested, that answers your specific question, is foods with very low calorie counts such that you can eat lots of them. Good but potentially unrealistic options include carrot, celery, some unsalted nuts and fruits. This is even better if it's something that takes time to eat, like a mandarin, as you need to peel it, which slows you down. Some other more realistic options include healthier chips, like grain waves and unflavored corn chips, other less healthy nuts, edamame soybeans, air popcorn, and homemade dips and water crackers. 2. This is to fill yourself up with proteinous foods such as chickpeas, hummus, yogurt, cheese, etc. These can't exactly be in large quantities, but will actually make you last until your next meal, or if it's late, satisfy you until the morning. Hope this helps. My personal fave is to have warm and slightly salted edamame. You can usually buy them from a supermarket where I'm from, and even a tiny bowl is enough to fill you for a short while. And they're actually tasty, unlike everything else green. Story 61, Doritos are addicting for 2 reasons: crunch and cheesy taste. So, If it's the crunch you're after, try dry cereal. Quaker oat squares are perfect for a crunch, and you get a lot for a serving. Ick what the calorie count is, though. As for cheese, try an ounce of Gouda with a bowl of red grapes. Or sprinkle fresh popcorn with the cheese powder from a mac and cheese box. I think if you figure out what you're wanting from the Doritos, you can find a better alternative. Story 62 cheese, good cheese with crackers. Fruits, I just blend them frozen with juices. Chips, healthy chips, and salsa read up on salsa, it's pretty cool. Oh, and pretzels are amazing, as well as great with hummus dips or butter dips. Try any of those in whatever combination, and you should be somewhat satisfied, or eat breakfast no matter the time. On the subject of health and food diet, moderation really is key to achieving your goal. Extremes are rarely a good thing for humans. Story 63 cress. Eat as much as you like. Can't say I enjoy it as much as Doritos. If you can't stop yourself at 14 halfway through the bag, buy smaller multi-packs. Why the need to consume large amounts of food anyway? That sounds more like the issue rather than an alternative food. Story 64 serious question. ITT lots of people stocking up on veggies. How do you avoid basically having to make the toilet your new home? Seriously, if I eat a large amount of salad and basically a high-velocity shitting machine for the next 2 days, it gets painful after a while. How do you guys have this not happen? Story 65 for something sweet. Try to stay away from refined sugar. Fruit is good. Just don't eat too much like Steve Jobs did. Oranges, apples, kiwis, watermelon, fruit, berries, and melons have benefits like vitamin C, maleic acid, and lycopene. Be sure to consume the fiber and not just the juice. Dried fruit can be more convenient than fresh while still being healthy. Prunes are the superfood that keeps giving. Dates are as sweet as candy. I like dates with unsweetened cream cheese. Nuts are healthy, but eating them in public opens you up to puns. I see your nuts. When you need protein, everyone is quick to suggest cheese, but too much cheese can have consequences. I like yogurt instead. The kind with live bacteria. Unsweetened phage and grapes are delicious together. Green tea helps suppress hunger. Just avoid the sugar-sweetened kind. Brew it fresh. It's so much better than already prepared kind and cheaper. Oatmeal is something you can eat and still feel good about. Oats are high in protein. Add in some extra oat bran for additional fiber. You can avoid the sugar easily by sweetening it with raisins. Add a dash of cinnamon for taste. You can make it quickly in the microwave. Hummus and whole grain pita or celery is nice. Vegetables are so healthy. They're a no-brainer. To quote Mosby, Brussels sprouts are the comeback vegetable of the century. Pumpkin seeds are delicious. Bake them in olive oil and salt. So good. Sweet potato chips are tasty and convenient. Canned fish like sardines or salmon aren't flashy and exciting, but they're convenient and high in omega-3s and protein. They're also cheaper than most other sources of fish. Buy wild-caught if you can. Farm fish contains less omega-3. Just in general, avoid refined ingredients like sugar and white flour, and keep it natural. Eat real food. Not too much, mostly plants. Story 66. There are lots of stuff on this post that are great and healthy, but actually high in calories if you plan to eat a ton. Here's some very low-cal options that you can eat as much as you can. 1. Fresh or frozen berries, depends on the berry, but usually 40 cal, 100 G. Almost any frozen fruit is low-cal, good for curbing your appetite. Avoid banana, mango, oranges, grapes too. Tomatoes with oregano, 19 cal, 100 G. If you eat cheese, you can add some low-fat cheese that is 100 cal, 100 G. 3. Rice cakes. Aim for the ones with no additives, usually 33 apiece. 4. Cauliflower, broccoli, carrots, onions, garlic. Baked in oven with some spices. It might not sound that way, but this is super tasty, and you can easily eat 1 kilogram for under 500 calories. 5. Carrot, celery, or cucumber sticks, 30 cal, 100 G. 6. Homemade hummus can be a low-cal option if you put just a little tahini and no olive oil. 7. Oven-baked apple chips. This is incredibly good. Cut apples into thin slices. Sprinkle them with some cinnamon stevia, usually around 100 calories per apple. Story 67 banana ice cream is a classic for anyone who craves sugar. Take a bunch of bananas, remove the skin, and put them in the freezer. Once they're frozen, put them in a food processor on high for about a minute. At first, it will turn crumbly, but eventually the texture will become like ice cream with no additional ingredients. You can add a tablespoon or so of all-natural peanut butter or cocoa nibs if you want for some extra flavor, but I like it on its own instead of chips. I will often slice a plantain very thin. I use a mandolin, add a bit of olive oil, chili powder, garlic powder, and salt. Then bake in the oven till crisp. Then you've got homemade oven-baked plantain chips. Sometimes I will roast chickpeas in the oven as well. Make sure you roast them long enough that they become crunchy. If you take them out too soon, the inside will still be kind of soft, and it doesn't taste very good. I also like salted edamame, dried fruit, hummus with veggies, and various types of nuts. Story 68. I like that you're really getting tons of responses about actually healthy snacks. But for me, the problem is when I'm craving a bag of Doritos, celery sticks just don't cut it. I could eat a bag of celery sticks, but I still want the Doritos afterwards. If I am craving salty and crunch, it's dry, salty, and crunchy I'm looking for, not wet and crunchy, although I'm sure they're far from healthy. If you're looking for something a little lower calorie than Doritos, try flavored rice crackers. I personally love the sesame ones and the barbecue ones. They're not a Dorito, but a lot closer than a wet vegetable. Story 69, every time this kind of question pops up, I click on it hoping there will be something good. But it's always just cucumbers and grapes. That's not what I wanted to hear, Reddit. Story 70, okay. Maybe I'm showing up way too late for the party. But this is directly relevant to me since my new weight loss strat is to find satisfying replacements to all my old unhealthy habits. So I recently bought a mandolin slicer, and it's rocking my whole world. It turns out that any kind of fruit, thinly sliced and placed in the oven on low for 4 to 6 hours, transforms into a wonderful, delicious, crunchy snack. I've done it with apples coated in cinnamon and mangoes so far. Strawberries and kiwis are up next. The only trouble is my oven only fits so many baking sheets, and I tend to eat them all the second they're done. Story 71. Roasted garbanzo beans with any seasoning you want and some light olive oil drizzle. Baby carrots with roasted red pepper hummus. Buy Murmura from an Indian store. Microwave 1 cup of murmura. Add dry red chilies. Any seasoning you wish: turmeric, red chili powder, asafoetida, dry curry leaves, coconut flakes, yummy. Homemade banana chips. Roasted nuts not salted.